Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio's The Incoherent Ramblings of C&E. Christopher and Eric are your hosts, coming to you live from Greensboro, North Carolina, as we do every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Our intro music is provided from the Podshow PodSafe Music Network. Check it out at music.podshow.com. Also, feel free to email your topics for discussion, suggestions, and comments to incoherentramblings@live.com.
And good evening, this is Christopher. Eric is yet to show up, but I'm sure he'll be here soon. Because I haven't heard otherwise, it's June the 17th, 2010, and we're broadcasting live from the internationally famous C&E Studios in Greensboro, North Carolina. I hope you're doing well this evening. It's a beautiful day outside. It is warm. It's almost summer, officially. And I think our tailgaters are enjoying themselves quite a bit, to be honest with you. Out there, got their tuned in to us and got a grill with some meat and whatnot. So welcome to those guys, and welcome to our live listeners, and welcome to the majority of our listeners who listen after the show goes on the air. If you want to call us, you can reach us at 646-716-6928. You can go to blogtalkradio.com/incoherent ramblings to find out more information about our show. And I hear someone coming in, so I'm thinking maybe it's Eric. It is. Got my sorry about that. The co-chair seat. Not a problem. I got caught up with tailgating outside. Well, yeah, I was telling our listeners that the tailgating was, a beautiful late spring day, and people are out there tailgating.
They got brats wrapped in bacon. You don't have to stop for that.
They do. Well, I told them that they definitely had the grills were going, and they had us tuned in. So it is warm. It definitely is. It seems a little bit better than yesterday to me, just slightly. I don't know if there's more breeze or maybe the humidity is a little.
I think that's what it probably was.
A little bit less.
Yeah, but that's what it was. But the humidity yesterday.
Yes. And it rained. The thunderstorm came a little earlier in the day yesterday. Usually it's somewhere between like 4 and 6 or 5 and 7. Yesterday it came around.
What's over yet, is it?
No, not officially.
Crazy.
June 21st, 22nd. So it came early yesterday, and then it was gone real quick. So the sun was back out full force with very little cloud coverage. So you had the sun coming down off the asphalt, plus the water evaporating.
Right.
Ugh. I was not very pleased about it. So how are you tonight?
Doing fantastic. And yourself?
I'm doing okay.
Good. Dad's home?
He is. Just getting ready to that was going to be my next topic that I was going to there, saying that he is home and doing quite well from his surgery. Doctor said the surgery was successful. It was a little bit longer than they had originally anticipated. However,
Not much, because they were pretty close to that.
Right.
4:05. I think he came out at what, like 4:30 or something?
It was 4:55 when he came out to us.
Right. Okay. Yes, but the doctor came out, so they were done. He was wrapping. I mean, they was resting up and that kind of stuff.
Right. Well, he said they had about 30 more minutes to go.
Oh, okay.
Because his part was done. They were going to, the anesthesiologist had a few things to do, and somebody else had a few things to do. He said about 30 more minutes, and they said we could see him in 45 minutes to an hour, and we saw him at 5:55, and that was an hour from when the doctor gave us the consult at 4:55. So he was pretty on top of it. Originally, they had planned the operation to go from 7:30 to somewhere around 3:30 or 4, and he would come out around 4. So he said it went about an almost.
They said 4 or 5.
4 o'clock, yes.
Maybe
not 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
So The doctor was very pleased in the outcome of the surgery and very pleased with the rate at which my dad was improving as the day went by. And then as, his stay in the hospital went by. He went home yesterday, got home around noon. His intentions were to go in and take a shower because he had not showered at the hospital at all.
He had taken a couple before.
Right, yeah.
Because it's 6.
The night before, he had to wash up with his regular soap and then wash off and rinse twice with the special soap they gave him, and then repeat that the morning he came in. So he washed up and rinsed off 6 times in about 8 or 9 hours.
How many days was he in there?
It started Friday morning, and then he got out Wednesday, so about 5 days.
So he washed up. He's right on track.
But he said his intentions were to take a shower immediately. But he lay down on the bed when he was undressing, and he fell asleep. and stayed asleep for about an hour, and then he got a shower. So, but he said after having that nap and taking a shower, he said he felt just absolutely tremendous, and he looked much, much, much better too. So, a little teaser for later in the show. We have a story about a man, a waxing incident that nearly cost a man his testicle.
Huh.
So
that's good.
It's a good news story in the making.
I don't have hardly any good stories. I got like 6 stories. They all sing. As a teaser.
You mean as in they're not good news stories, or just not good stories at all?
Aren't very good stories.
They aren't good stories. Yeah, well, some weeks are like that. We don't make the news.
No,
we just report it. So I mean, we can only report what's there.
David had told me about a story here on the local radio station, one that steals our material. So I went looking for that story because it was kind of funny.
Right.
I couldn't find it. I wonder if they made it up. Maybe they do make their own news.
I hope they aren't listening right now. Because even though we don't call them by name, they know who we're talking about. Because we'll have a story on Thursday night, and Friday morning they'll have it on their show. And I can only think that we must. I take it as flattery, personally.
Yeah, I don't mind doing their own work for them.
I know. I mean,
But I literally, I looked for a long time. I could not find it. So. Not saying it didn't happen.
But Bella's doing well. She went to the doctor today, have a battery of tests. She threw up, I think, 3 times over the past 3 or 4 days, which is very unusual for her. 2 or 3 times a year she may throw up a little bit, especially after getting into like some dead animal off the side of the road.
Right.
So it's when she threw it the first time, I didn't really think anything of it because, fine, whatever. But then she threw it the second time after having not thrown up for like a day and a half, 2 days. And then she threw up yesterday, and it was a very large amount. So I took her to see Dr. Janet this morning. And she poked and prodded, and then I left her there, and they took her blood work, and they checked her red and white cell, and her platelets were all normal. Her enzymes of her kidneys and liver were all normal, and then they took x-rays because she said, I can't find a reason why she lost so much weight. She weighed in at 46.8 pounds.
Wow.
And 3 months ago when she was in for her physical, she was like 50.8 pounds. So it's, it's a huge drop.
Right.
Percentage-wise.
10%.
So, but I think we found out, and she called me around noon, and she said, she gave me the results of every single test, that everything was within the normal range. And she said she's completely healthy. What we figured out was the new food that I have her on is weight management. We looked at the calorie for 1 cup, and it's like only 362 calories. Well, she's always hungry, but now, as the food is hitting the bowl, she's eating. Like, right. And Dr. Janet said she did the same thing there. So I'm going to look up and find the caloric intake for what she was on before, and I bet you it was more.
Right.
And then we'll have to figure out either go back to that food or stay on this one and adjust it accordingly. Or just get this brand and not get the weight management one. Because Dr. Janet, at one point at her heaviest, she was 62 or 63 pounds. And Dr. Janet wanted her to lose about 5 pounds. So I got her down to 57. And she wanted her to lose about 5 pounds. I was like, that's what you said 5 pounds ago. And she smiled. And then she was down around 52, between 50 and 52. But now all of a sudden down to, under 47. And you can see her hips come in right before her hips, very shallow. Anyhow, good news is she's healthy. She just turned 9. So the osteoporosis in her lower back and the arthritis in her hips are completely normal for her age and her breed. So it costs a few extra dollars that I didn't want to spend, but we know that she's good and healthy. So there's 2 good news stories about people in my family.
There you go.
Exactly. So let's see. Do you have any good news? Are any of yours good?
I had a good news story.
Is this the one about a guy got shot in the mouth? That sounds like a good story.
That's the only other one that's halfway decent.
Okay.
Let's see here. My good news story I have is the vaccine could prevent breast cancer. Researchers at the Cleveland Clinic in Ohio have developed a vaccine that may prevent breast cancer, which kills more than 40,000 women a year. 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with this disease during their life. During a 12-month trial, scientists injected the new vaccine into 6 mice genetically engineered to be prone to breast cancer. They injected a placebo into 6 additional mice prone to breast cancer. None of the 6 vaccinated mice developed tumors. All 6 of the placebo-infected mice developed tumors. But that was interesting.
That is cool. Maybe if they find a cure, they'll be able to go to our nation's capital and enjoy it a little bit better.
Yeah, I guess this isn't a cure. I guess this is to help prevent you from getting it.
Right.
But still, I do that work with that other company that donates money to the Susan G. Komen Foundation, which you ran into one of their events while you're in D.C.
I donate to them on a regular, more than yearly basis in honor of my mother, who is a 38-year breast cancer survivor. So, just nothing against the organization, just a little irritated by that event.
Right.
Shutting down the city.
Anyway, it's a long story. I'm not going to read it all because it seems kind of boring. But I just thought that was really good news.
But it is excellent news. Well, it may not be a cure once you have it, but, I'm like Ted Nugent. I don't want repeat offenders. I want dead offenders.
Right.
If you never get it in the first place, you don't have to worry about it.
Right.
So that would be pretty awesome if they could come up with something, even if it didn't prevent it 100%.
Right. That's how the article ended. He says, I have my optimistic moments where I believe it will provide incredible substantial protection. He says that even if it provides 25% protection,
that's a huge.
It would reduce incidence of breast cancer by 25%. That's remarkable.
Right. Absolutely. Did you hear about the young lady that was lost at sea in the Indian Ocean? Someone, I don't watch news, so someone was talking to me about it, and I just nodded my head like I knew what they were talking about.
Right.
I don't either. Apparently, there's a 16-year-old girl that was sailing around the world.
Well, we had that story on our show.
We did?
Yeah.
Oh.
I didn't know she was lost, though.
Oh, we had the story when she started. So that was quite some time ago.
Yes.
Okay, no, this was like on May 21st.
Okay.
She was 500 miles north of the Antarctic islands. She basically was lost. She had a storm-damaged yacht. She was in the Indian Ocean, and she didn't know what to do. The boat was damaged. She couldn't sail it, and a French fishing boat found her and has rescued her and brought her to shore. But basically, she's 16 years old. I'm not questioning. Well, I guess I am questioning her parents and their parenting skills. I don't know if I would allow a 16-year-old child to sail around the world completely by themselves.
Right.
I don't think that's reasonable.
No sat phone.
No.
No GPS.
No, just a sale.
Right.
And some food. I mean,
good luck.
Yeah. I'll see you in a year. I guess
it's a thin line. You don't want to stand in the way of their dreams, but
she's 16.
16.
I mean, well, here's my question: how much experience has she acquired by the time she's 16? I said at the place where we met, the store where we met, I said to the guy that hired me, he said, you don't have any experience. I said, how am I supposed to ever get any if nobody will give it to me? Same thing my mom was saying, that the guy doing my dad's heart operation didn't look like he's old enough to have any experience. I was like, how? The only way you get experience, and everybody's like, well, I don't want them experimenting on me. But if they don't experiment on someone, they don't ever get the experience needed in order for you to ride off on them doing it. I guess that's why they do it with people who are more experienced that are running the show.
Right.
But in this situation, say if her father were an experienced seaman, maybe they could have done this trip together.
Yes. But
by herself, or maybe they just could have gone maybe from one continent to another, just so she could be with someone who had that experience. But that at the age of 21, I personally feel that's unreasonable. 16,
right,
to turn her loose. She's not even an adult
right,
for 2 more years. So
yeah.
I don't know about that. Especially with all the pirates. People laugh about pirates, but I mean, the fact is, it's a very serious problem.
Right.
In the world.
Where did they say they found her?
In the Indian Ocean.
And they talk about the Arctic. Does the Indian Ocean go all the way down to the...
I would think so. Let's see here.
I was visioning that, and it didn't make sense, but I guess it would.
If you see the Indian Ocean right here, I guess
it does.
All the way.
It does.
Pretty big.
I always thought of it here.
Where India is.
Right.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, this over here, Madagascar and Africa and Australia, that's Indian Ocean.
Right, I knew that. I guess it makes sense it goes all the way down to the Antarctica. Where's the Arctic Sea, then?
The Arctic Sea?
Is there an Arctic Sea?
There is. Arctic Sea. I always spell it wrong. I'll leave it. Arctic Ocean.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, that's it right there. It's that inner circle. And I would think the Antarctic Ocean would probably be that same circle on the opposite side.
Right. So it didn't reach all the way down to...
Well, this is the opposite end of the Earth where she was.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you look at the map you showed me of the Indian Ocean, it didn't stretch all the way to Antarctica.
Correct.
There was a border, which must be the Antarctic Ocean.
Right. Let's see if there is an Antarctic Ocean. Southern Ocean. Maybe that's what it is. Yep, same circle.
Yeah. So
from that degree in would be the Southern Ocean, the Great Southern Ocean, or the Antarctic Ocean, or the South Polar Ocean.
There you go.
So.
A little geography.
A little
info.
Tidbit.
You can't see the maps that we're looking at.
And you don't even know if we're telling the truth.
That threw me off.
Well, I mean, yeah. She was, let's see here. A French boat was expected to reach Abbey Sunderland up Thousand Oaks between midnight and 12:30 after a search plane launched from the west coast of Australia, was able to find her. So, she said, this is the end of a dream. There's no boat to sail. Good news is she was found.
Right.
Look, if you're in the Indian Sea that close to the Antarctic, then that's probably a pretty dangerous area to be in.
Yeah.
You got ginormous whaleboats, and then those anti-whalers going around shooting stuff at them. Who knows? I mean, treacherous.
Right.
And she made it, so good for her. Yeah, you have another good story for us?
That was the only good story.
Is that it?
You can't talk. I mean, I would have led with my best if I had. It's hard to beat a potential vaccine for breast cancer. That's an amazing story. That's not a good story.
That is.
I started with a great story.
Well, it is potential.
If it works in 6 rats, it's got to work.
Well, I mean, you got a point there. I hope that it is. it works out well. That would be a good thing. Well, do you have any? I don't have any more. Oh, I do. I guess I do have some good news stories here.
I went through all my good news stories and they were pretty lame.
It's all the same stuff that we've had. A camera lost in Aruba floats to Florida.
All that I didn't print it. The guy posts the pictures and he finds the owner that way.
Oh, okay.
I showed it to him. So.
I mean, that's kind of cool.
I'm not sure how good it is.
Well,
because it's good that he went through the extra effort to find the owner of a camera.
Right. Well, I guess it's kind of a neat thing that there's this dude walking along the pier in Key West and he finds a camera that someone lost in Aruba. Right. That's kind of neat. I guess the camera floated. I don't know.
They used it when they were diving, so they must have been definitely watertight.
Maybe a porpoise swallowed it and puked it up there in Key West.
I did see a story. I didn't print it. I know. I probably should have. A guy was, I don't know if he was cleaning dog poop up or something like that.
It's a great story.
It started great. And he saw money in it. And it had $58 in the dog poop.
From one dog?
And he returned it to somebody. Yeah. Oh, he knew who it was. Too. So, how can I not think that was a good story?
I know. Instead of BS, it's DS, I guess. How did you know? It all came out in one dog's poop? $58 in one poop?
Yeah.
I would be like collecting that dog's poop all the time.
$58 in dog poop.
I get it.
Can't be too many stories that way. For money found in dog poop.
News for, here we go. Missouri pooper scooper finds $58 in.
See, I don't make it up.
This is why your mother says to wash your hands after handling money. An employee at Duty Calls Pet Waste Removal in St. Louis says he recently found $58 packed in dog poop and returned the cash to the pooch's owner. But Steve Wilson says he sanitized the bills first. Wilson said he wasn't sure what to do when he first noticed money sticking out from the doggy doo, but after pulling out cash and cleaning it, he placed it in a Ziploc bag and gave it back to the customer. The Association of Professional Animal Waste Specialists, Wilson, says Wilson is the first person in his profession to find and report money in dog poo.
I didn't know there was such a foundation.
The Association of Professional Animal Waste Specialists. You get that? Paws. PAWS. The Association of Paws. I'm sure they did that on purpose. There's no way that's a coincidence. Cute story. I think if I went through all the trouble to clean it, sanitize it, I think I would have kept it for myself as a tip. But this just in, with the economy down, volunteering is up. That's good news.
There you go.
I don't know what people are volunteering for, but apparently they feel like
it's going to time some time on there.
They're just following in the footsteps of our great leader.
That's right.
I mean, they really are. The Obamas have volunteered for a number of projects, and the president started United We Serve, a nationwide service initiative to get people involved in. So
there's nothing wrong with that. No, he came out with it.
It's something. But think about this. This sounds just like the government. At my work, we have meetings to plan meetings. This is a volunteer organization where you can volunteer to volunteer. Efficiency, but still, that's a good thing that people are doing out, making a difference.
Yes.
So that is a good thing. Well, we don't have any other good news stories. That's it. We need somebody. You know what we need? Steppenwolf.
Yes.
In dire times, somebody has to step up to the plate.
North Carolina superhero.
North Carolina's own. I would argue most famous superhero.
Yes.
I don't know of any other superhero that's more famous than Steppenwolf here in these parts. And unfortunately, it's come to us by through the grapevine that he's retired. And we've pleaded on the show many times for him to come out of retirement, and hopefully he will, because that's where you can start some good news.
Or Steppenwolf too. The legend returns like Zorro. The return of Steppenwolf.
The return. I like that. The return of Steppenwolf. Yes. I think that's perfect. Nonetheless, superheroes need to come out. We need somebody to create good news for us so we can report it. That's not our calling. Our calling is just to report it, not to create it. Unlike some of our rivals here that make up stories. I won't call anybody by name, Mr. Kennedy.
Did they steal your name? I'm sorry.
No. Anyhow, if he's listening, we actually are listeners of your show. We enjoy it very much.
Speaking of shows, a radio station I don't listen to locally is WKZL, 107.5. I don't know what their format. Would you say pop or?
Yeah, pop.
Yeah.
Adult contemporary / pop.
Right. Well, they have a contest on their show called Secret Sound. Have you heard of it?
No, I have not.
They record certain sounds, and then they play it back, and it's just a snippet.
Right.
And you try and guess what it is. You have to call in, be the 15th caller, if you are. If you don't get it right, it goes up by $100. The next time the person calls in, it goes on.
Okay.
4 times a day it goes on. 7 times in the morning, 4:10 in the afternoon. 7:10, 11:10, 4:10, and 7:10.
Okay.
Okay. And each time it's wrong, it goes up by $100. So I guess each day it can go up by as much as $400.
Okay.
Once a day, they post a clue as to what it could be. Well, friend Catherine, she called me up.
Friend of the show.
Called me up when it was at the 3,000.
Oh, it keeps accruing every day.
Every day it goes.
Is it the same sound until someone gets it?
Someone gets it.
Oh, so it's not a new sound each. Okay.
Right.
Okay, I'm with you. Okay.
So
up to 3,000.
It's up to 3,000. She called me. This was a few weeks ago. Okay. And I gave her what I thought it might be. I thought it might be a weed whacker. Well, we're listening and calling. I'm trying to call in, blah, blah, blah. She's calling in. We never get through, of course. Day before yesterday, it was up to $11,000.
Oh,
$11,100 or something like that.
Wow.
The person before the last person that called in had guessed a weed whacker, and that wasn't it. About a week ago, I had changed it to a pepper grinder. I thought it might be a pepper grinder. And because, you look at these clues, and it changes the way you think of what it could possibly be. So the first clue they gave, and at this point there's like 24 clues. The very first clue was Iron Man 2.
Okay.
And they're very random clues.
Right. Which, it leaves a lot of variables.
Right.
Okay.
So, and I'd seen the movie, and the starlet of the movie, her name in the show is Pepper. So that's where that's part of where I came up with Pepper.
Peppermill.
So, and then there's Skunk, and there's Dog, and there's Stain, and there's Steve Carell, and all these are the clues. Swiss cheese, 802 Wesley Street, Salem College, Steeplechase Apartments at Adams Farm was one of the clues.
Right.
So, I thought at one point, you can almost make any of your clues work with those random of clues,
Right.
So, I had looked up that 802 Wesley Street, and the business there was Pew Metal Finishing.
Okay.
Well, I thought metal finishing, one of the main things they use in that is a grinder. So grinder, see, that's making it work.
Right.
That's what I had envisioned. Well, then the next clue was Adams Farm, steeplechase up to steeple. And the next clue was wedding. So I saw steeple, wedding, and then on my blotter I'd written down P-U-G-H, metal finishing, and I saw pew. And I texted Catherine. I said, I think that might have something to do with a pew, P-E-W. The next person called in and said, it's the sound of people sitting on a church pew. And that was it.
Oh, my goodness. And how much did they...
But I would never have put those two together because that's not any sound I would have ever thought that it sounded like,
Right.
And they won $11,000, like $100 or $400.
Wow. Awesome. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. But then the next day they explained the clues. So, like, Iron Man 2 was just a random movie they had picked to symbolize a gathering of people.
Oh, my goodness.
So, that just made me angry.
A gathering of people. That wasn't a clue.
Just made me angry.
They could have made it a march or a protest. They could have said people going to church.
Right. Some of the things are like day off and that kind of stuff. Swiss cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Holy. Steve Carell from, that Devin Almighty movie, I guess.
Okay.
Skunk pew.
Right.
Smells. That kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
So, I don't know how we got on a tangent, but that was something I've been doing for the last few weeks. And then when I heard those clues, it just kind of irritated me.
I have a story. I would never do anything like this, but I found this to be an amusing story. Sometimes we have grandmothers in the news. I don't know if this lady is a grandmother or not, but she's 74 years old. Police in Idaho think they might have solved a year-long condiment crime spree. That's not something you hear often.
I never read this story. No.
Authorities say a 70-year-old Boise, Idaho woman arrested after pouring mayonnaise in the Ada County Library's book drop is a person of interest in at least 10 other condiment-related crimes. Joy L. Cassidy was picked up Sunday at the library moments after police say she pulled through the outside drive-thru and dumped a jar of mayo in the box designated for reading materials. Cassidy was released from jail and faces a misdemeanor charge of malicious injury to property. Boise police say Cassidy is under investigation for other cases of vandalism that started in May of 2009. Library employees have reported finding books in the drop box covered in corn syrup and ketchup.
Is there any motive been reported for this?
No, there hasn't been reported thus
far. What is the most common motive in condiment-related crimes?
I would say a fleeting moment of joy. I don't see how I could find joy in something like this, but apparently 74-year-old ladies that are living in Boise and perhaps bored with retirement, maybe she finds that as a way to brighten her day.
Now, did she only vandalize the? It wasn't just the library, was it?
Yeah.
It was just the library she did.
Mm-hmm.
I thought but they suspected her of others.
Yeah, and because they found corn syrup and ketchup.
All in the library.
Yes.
Maybe she had something against the library.
And she may.
Maybe they revoked her library card. Maybe they charged her for fees that she didn't feel like she earned.
Maybe she just wanted to give kids who are reading them something to dip their French fries in.
Perhaps.
Yeah, maybe she's looking out for the well-being of others.
Maybe she thought, well, maybe it's like her own scratch and sniff. To encourage kids or just reading of any sort. People might be flipping a page.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, mayonnaise. Mustard.
I found that to be so odd that she was dumping condiments. You don't hear about condiment crime sprees very often.
Right. Here's another one about grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
This grandmother was caught growing pot.
Oh.
In Memphis, Tennessee, a North Memphis grandmother was arrested on drug charges after police found potted marijuana plants outside her home. Memphis police spotted the 4 plants Wednesday afternoon outside the home of the 65-year-old Helen Franklin while searching for a suspect in the area. When officers went to her door to ask if she was aware of what kind of plants they were, she replied, "Yes, reefer. I planted it." Franklin was charged with manufacturing marijuana and is currently being held on $5,000 bond. So, she knew exactly what she was doing.
Exactly. If she finds condiments on her reefers, and maybe she knows where to look.
Maybe she can make a reefer sandwich.
The next story is a video, but I just want to read the caption.
Okay. Car
stopped with goat in trunk. I don't know. I found that to be humorous. I think goats are funny.
I read that.
That was live audio we had. The officers had their. Let's see here.
Yeah, it was a DUI stop.
Yep, here in Virginia, a Virginia woman was charged for animal abuse when officers at a DUI checkpoint in Bedford County discovered a goat in the trunk of her vehicle. the officer operating a checkpoint, asked 32-year-old Fiona Ann Endery about the source of the noises coming from her trunk when she stopped for a routine DUI questioning. She told the officer she had purchased a goat from a farmer, I think I mean goat there, earlier in the day as a gift to passengers in her vehicle. The passengers were Kenyan, and goats carry a very specific value in that culture. Officers noted the temperature of the vehicle was in excess of 90 degrees. Even though she tried to convince the officers carrying a goat in the trunk was entirely legal in the United Kingdom, where she is originally from, they decided the animal cruelty charge was necessary in this situation. She was not charged with any DUI. She is, however, due in court on the cruelty charge later this summer.
For those of you who were thinking, well, I wonder how I should transfer my goat.
Not in your trunk.
Not in your trunk. Or at least not in, where was it?
Virginia.
In Virginia.
Bedford County.
Not in Bedford County.
Maybe if you're in the United Kingdom. Maybe you did.
Have correspondent there if you would like. You could tell us if that's allowed.
Well, maybe it's just there's not a crime, and there's not a law against it. Unfortunately, common sense can't always prevail, and if there is not a law specifically against something you do, then you haven't broken the law, even though common sense would tell you not to do it. Perhaps carrying it in her trunk was her only method by doing so. I'm wondering where the Kenyans were. They were not in the car with her at the time. This seems like
they were in the car with her?
Well, it didn't say that.
But it said with the Kenyans.
No, it just said that she purchased it earlier in the day as a gift to passengers in her vehicle. If they were,
you know that they're still there. I assume they were still in the car.
They may, but the way it's worded is kind of odd. But you know, I don't know. That's kind of maybe she should have put it in the back seat.
My goes, they're good.
So yes, maybe I don't know if anything like they should like drop the hammer on her or whatever. But just tell her, don't be transporting livestock in your trunk. What's wrong with you?
I got a story from Chicago. A man spit a bullet out after it pierced his mouth and knocked out a tooth early Monday morning. The shooting happened at 4:35 a.m. The 39-year-old victim was walking down the street when he realized he'd been shot. The bullet knocked out a tooth, but did not penetrate the inside of the man's mouth. He was able to spit the bullet out. It was unclear what caliber weapon had been used in the shooting, and he's in stable condition, and they're still trying to track down who may have done it. But I just like the visual of that. When you get shot, just that's tough. I think I might have been shot. I think I caught it in my mouth.
I think it was the circus.
You good?
Oh, I'm thinking it must have been like a small caliber.
Yeah.
Perhaps a pellet gun or something. I don't know.
I envisioned like John Wayne or something.
Right. Clint Eastwood. Biting down the bullet. Is that all you got, punk? Oh, that's funny. A lot of our humor stories are usually involve intoxication of some manner. Mm-hmm. Well, when you read a story like this, cops find naked drunk men covered in mud in the woods. It's a story of interest for us. Police
have potential.
It does. Police in Western.
The elements we generally look for.
Yeah, nudity, drunkenness, and covered in mud. I mean, police. Yeah. Police in Western New York said 2 Canadian men. Well, there you go. Attended a church festival.
Oh, well, they played the nudity.
Yeah. And wound up in the woods, drunk, naked, and covered in mud. The troopers found a 22-year-old man from Hamilton, Ontario, sitting alongside the road in the town of Lewiston, just outside of Niagara Falls. Troopers said he was caked in mud. After questioning him, they found a 23-year-old man from Hamilton covered in mud and passed out in a ditch nearby. Police said both men were highly intoxicated. Troopers say the man had attended St. John de La Salle Carnival on Saturday and afterward decided to make it a Woodstock event.
Well, yeah.
By dancing naked in the woods, both men were taken to the hospital where they were treated and released. Neither man was charged. Maybe that's one of those cases where there's no specific law.
Public nudity.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're in a ditch,
covered in mud.
I mean, covered in mud. Hey. I have mud in all the right places. They surely weren't causing a ruckus because he's passed out.
That's right. Well, there you go.
Good church fun. That sounds like good, wholesome fun right there.
Absolutely.
Woodstock moment. Can I go right into the next one since we're on the church thing?
Sure.
This goes right to.
I almost mentioned after that.
This is
It happened in Ohio.
a 6-story Jesus statue was struck by lightning. The sculpture named Touchdown Jesus, because of the way his arms are raised, it was struck by lightning. Yeah. And set ablaze.
He also left down the steel skeleton.
On fire for Jesus. Yeah, 6-story statue, leaving only blackened steel skeleton of pieces of foam that were scoped by curious onlookers Tuesday. King of Kings statue, one of Southwest Ohio's most familiar landmarks, has stood since 2004, Solid Rock Church along I-75, just north of Cincinnati.
I'm lying to you. Strike me down. I'm sorry.
So, I don't know. Later on in the story, it goes off to say that it will be back, but this time we're going to try for something fireproof. It's a 4,000-member non-denominational church. I thought this was interesting. As travelers on I-75 were often startled to come upon the huge statue. It was like, but many America said America needs more symbols like it. But I imagine if you're like coming over the hill around the bend, all of a sudden there's this 6-story Jesus. Touchdown. Was he a Bengals fan?
Ohio State.
Well, the thing is, since he was outside of Cincinnati.
That was the H for the OH.
Oh, okay. Okay. I don't know if I can go along with that. So do you have something else for us?
Let's see. This comes from Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
Police said a Connecticut man who appeared at a courthouse to answer a larceny charge broke into several cars in front of the building, took a GPS unit, and inadvertently tried to sell it to its owner. Police said the arrest of 50-year-old Thomas Penio on Wednesday was his 40th arrest. When he tried to sell the GPS to its owner, an argument ensued, and the bystander called police. He was taken into custody by judicial marshals. He's being held on a $25,000 bond and has been arraigned on charges of burglary, larceny, and a breach of peace.
Well, larceny is a form of theft. So he was going to court for theft, where he commits theft and gets caught.
Yeah, on his way in.
On his way in. Maybe not the most brilliant of people, criminals. The smart criminals don't get caught, or rarely do. He's definitely not. He needs a new career.
Crime never pays.
No, well, I don't know about that. From what I heard, it pays fairly well. No, crime does not pay. Oh, you've heard of the group, the Hells Angels, right? Bikers and whatnot. Mm-hmm. If you were going to attack them, what would be your weapon of choice?
I see the title. Probably that would not be my first choice.
Yeah.
I know they have a fear of those.
Yeah. This comes to us from Berlin. A German student created a traffic jam in Bavaria after making a rude gesture at a group of Hells Angels motorcycle gang members and hurled a puppy at them, and then escaped in a stolen bulldozer.
This story, I had to escape.
Because everyone knows a bulldozer cannot run a motorcycle.
Absolutely.
Especially 0 to 60. I mean, you've got it beat hands down. But what caught me by this is hurling a puppy at them. That should be animal cruelty charges right there. German police said on Monday that after making his getaway from the Hells Angels clubs, the 26-year-old dumped the bulldozer, causing a 3-mile-long traffic jam near a southern town in Germany. He then fled to his home nearby, where he was apprehended by the police. What motivated him to throw a puppy at the Hells Angels is currently unclear. They said he's been suffering from depression. The puppy is now in safe hands. Yeah, that is kind of an odd thing. You know, maybe a bottle or a brick or a rock or, you know, I don't know, a dagger, but a puppy? I'll beat your head into this puppy. I'm not sure he was, I don't think he was thinking clearly there.
No. Let's see here. I have a story about, this kind of also reminded me of Monty Python. Alan Campbell, 63, received a startling information from a telephone operator when he tried to set a date to see a doctor. The former lorry driver, let's see here, had 3 operations to treat skin cancer on his cheek and nose. When he started having throat pains, he became worried that the disease might have spread. He gave the doctor's office a call to arrange an appointment to see the doctor. The telephone operator told him that she could not set a date because the records showed that he was deceased.
I'm not doing it.
What the hell is the clock? Yes, you are. You will be in a minute.
You will be soon.
You will be soon. Mr. Campbell survived a stroke, a heart attack, and apparently cheek and skin cancer,
and also death.
Just wanted to see any consultants, but they said, sorry, we can't give you appointments. Our records show that you are deceased.
I wonder how they figured out I wonder how they explained he was actually calling them if he were dead. They must have figured it was someone. You know.
Well, he said, you're joking. I'm 63. I'm talking to you, aren't I? And they said, you'll have to go back on Monday and get it all sorted out.
Well, no, he was, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of bizarre. I mean, I guess the only thing they were thinking is maybe it was someone trying to,
I'm sure the operator
steal his identity, or it could have been, I mean.
I just figured it was a brainless operator. You know, this is one of the screens, you know, one of the,
patient is dead.
You know, on the screen, the form you fill out, if it says they're dead, you can't go any farther. So, or maybe the system prevented her from scheduling an appointment for dead people. Sorry, we can't schedule an appointment for dead people.
Right.
So.
Well, I know you're an Ohio State fan.
Oh yeah.
And so you usually don't like anything.
Michigan related.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. We're kicking someone. This is the first time we've ever done this before. Kicking someone out of our chat because they're being vulgar, and we don't tolerate that. So, Michigan related. An out-of-work Michigan woman shot herself in hopes she'd receive medical treatment for a shoulder injury. Kathy Myers said she injured the shoulder a month ago while playing with her dogs. The 41-year-old Niles resident says she's been unable to see a specialist because she can't afford health insurance. So she shot herself Thursday. She was released from the hospital a few hours later. She has no suicide wish. She just says her life isn't going great right now, but I want to live, she says.
I saw that story. I didn't quite understand. Is that the only way she could get medical attention was by hurting herself? Or?
Well, she was trying to get her shoulder looked at, but she couldn't afford it because she didn't have health insurance. If you shoot yourself, they have to take you to the hospital. So she shot herself to get herself admitted to the hospital in hopes that while she was in there, they would, you know,
fix
her shoulder at the same time.
I gotcha.
So I guess we could just, she may need some psychological attention as well,
yeah.
Medical.
What do they call it? I can't think of the word I'm looking for.
What do they do? They hurt themselves for attention?
No.
Were
you try and beat the system?
Oh, yeah.
The loophole in our medical system. She was trying to find a loophole.
No. Now she just has a hole. So.
Here you got a story from Florida.
Okay.
Deputies responding to a 911 call in the Florida Keys made an unusual find. a man trapped in a recliner after the stuffed head of a buffalo fell on him.
Who's on the show?
Oh, the other show that we're talking about?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know. That's all right. That's all right.
The Monroe County...
They owe us a couple.
That's right. The Monroe County Sheriff's Office says dispatchers received a call Friday from a man who could only yell his address to tell operators that he was crushed. When deputies arrived at the home, they discovered the man trapped in his recliner chair. He had apparently fallen asleep and woken up with the head of a water buffalo that had been hanging on the wall fell in his lap. It was too heavy for him to lift, and so he was able to reach his cell phone and call for help.
That's the only thing that he could actually reach with a cell phone. Right. He thought he didn't realize where he was trapped. I'd heard that story elsewhere, so I found that to be funny. This is an odd thing. I'm not going to read the whole story, but authorities say in New Orleans, a cab driver is accused of locking a Texas tourist in his cab and demanding a 10% tip on a $33 airport fare. That's extortion. Officers say in the incident, the 30-year-old Sahel Khan was booked with extortion and false imprisonment. He could not be reached for comment because he doesn't have a phone. The 57-year-old woman from Bel Air, Texas, called 911 from her cell phone after arguing with the driver for a half hour. So it's kind of I'm not taking sides here. I'm not. But, I mean, the fact of the matter is the tip is not, you're not obligated to do it.
Right.
The fare is what you're obligated to pay. So if the cab fare were $33, she owes him $33 and absolutely nothing more. If she wants to give him anything above and beyond that, then that's her decision, not his.
Right.
And, you know, you always have the option of charging more money. But generally, I like to tip on some level. But if I had been locked in there and demand a certain amount, I wouldn't have paid it. I would have refused. I wouldn't have given him the $33. I would have called 911 and told him I was being held in prison, a hostage.
Right.
And then you wouldn't have to pay anything. That's a little ludicrous, but, you know.
This is kind of along the same lines. Not just as far as pricing. I don't know if I mentioned on the story before, if I just read it recently. Mm-hmm. But a restaurant somewhere was going to charge their customers if they didn't eat all of their food.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that to me. Yeah.
I don't have the story with me. I just remember reading it recently.
Wasn't it overseas?
I thought it was here.
I thought it was in Japan.
Maybe it was.
Yeah, let's see if we can find that. I can't never spell restaurant.
Oh, yeah, R-E-S-T. R-E-S-U-R-A-N-T.
Let's see here. Australia,
that's right.
Fines customers for food left uneaten. And also, it was the Japanese one, because I remember you saying it was Japan. There's a surcharge.
Yes.
As a matter of fact. The Japanese restaurant on the Upper West Side charges $26.95 for their all-you-can-eat menu. But if you don't eat every last bite, they slap on the 3% charge.
That's not the one I had. It might have been the Australian one, because it had nothing to do with the all-you-can-eat thing.
Right.
It had to do with wasteful ordering more than you can eat.
John Candy's, they said they were going to charge John Candy the full price of a 96-ounce steak if he didn't eat all the gristle and fat. 3% of $26.95 seems reasonable. They say 27% of all food in the country ends up in the trash.
Wow.
That's in Japan.
I bet that's the way it is in a lot of places.
But it's more than that in America.
Yeah.
And Australia charges 30% more to patrons who don't finish all of the food. Her goal is not based on snobbery, but rather a desire for sustainability. Finishing your meal requires that everything is eaten except lemon slices, sushi ginger, and wasabi. Please note that vegetables and salad on the side are not decorations. They are part of the meal, too. So if there's something you don't want, then you just say you don't want it.
If you don't like it,
right, you can go eat elsewhere.
No, I mean, what if you order a salad, you take the first bite, and the salad's nasty?
And send it back. Say, I'm not paying for this because it's nasty. We're about out of time.
Well, I'm out of stories.
Well, but we did tease some people with the waxing.
Oh yes.
Waxing fundraiser goes awry.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Cooper might want to think twice the next time he's asked to participate in a bikini waxing fundraiser for charity. Cooper, 24, was left in agony after an intimate beauty waxing event at a pub went too far and he nearly lost a testicle. I'd never do it again. I wouldn't put any man through that pain, he told the media. Cooper and 10 male friends had agreed to undergo the waxing on June 5th to raise cash for a local hospital. But all the others just had their chest waxed while he endured the male Brazilian. Onlookers placed bids to pull the strips off in charity event at the pub and there in Britain. One of the strips stuck to a very sensitive spot, and an over-energetic tug by one of his friends tore off 6 of his 7 layers of skin. Pub manager Josh Attic told the UK Daily Mail, "He's a bit of a clown. He likes to do things like that. People were bidding quite a lot to have a rip. I was laughing, but I did feel quite sorry, especially as we had a disco later and he couldn't walk." Cooper wound up in the hospital. You can imagine how much everyone was laughing at me. It was ironic. I was meant to be helping them, and they ended up helping me. They told me if any more skin had come off, that would have been it. I was very lucky.
You're lucky you lost 6 layers of skin.
6 of 7 layers. Cooper has so far helped to raise about $4,400 for the Children's War. Added, I just hope people will sponsor me more now because I'm still hurting. So there's our story as promised. And he was doing it for a good cause. It seems like a very silly way to raise money, especially people that are probably either intoxicated to being intoxicated, handing that responsibility over to them. Maybe next time it will be held in the
not a very ringing endorsement for the product that you use.
No, well, maybe it is. Guaranteed to remove all hair.
All hair and 6 layers of skin.
It'll be smooth as a baby's bottle. After it was just born. So that's it. We apologize if any listeners were in our chat to see the lewd comments that were in there. And that's the first time we've ever booted anybody. Yeah. We've come close to it a couple of times, but we actually value freedom of speech, but we also have a bully pulpit, and we can pull the plug anytime we want to. So hope you guys have a good evening, and we'll see you next week.
This has been Blog Talk Radio's The Incoherent Ramblings of C&E. Christopher and Eric are your hosts, and we would like to thank you for listening to our show today. Don't forget to tune in for next week's show live from Greensboro, North Carolina, as we are every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time.